Hello, beekeepers. This is the Saturday beekeeping update. I did attempt to feed the bees during all of the rainy weather we had last week, and it turns out they just flat out did not want it. They prefer the real deal rather than the sugar water, so I left them alone and I am not putting the feed back on this week. As you can see, the bees are quite active. I was doing this early in the morning, around 7:30, which I guess is not really early for everybody, but I wanted to do this before it got really hot in the day. When I checked the beetle trap, there were no bugs in the beetle trap. Now, removing the frames is always interesting. You never know exactly what you're going to find, but I did want to remove the burr comb on top of the frames before I got started. There's the beetle trap we just removed. Here's the first frame that we take out. It's always the most interesting one to remove, and although we have bees, nothing really happening there. Second frame coming out, again we have bees, but nothing really there. And then we have the third frame. And this is the third frame, and this one was empty last week, and this week we have new comb added. And you can see the bees are working it quite nicely. Now it's interesting because bees take 8 pounds of honey to make 1 pound of comb. So this is a very expensive process for the bees because they use the honey for food. So in order to make all of this comb, they're really trying to expand, and they're using their resources, and their resources need to be plentiful. Now, this particular frame has lots of larvae in it, as well as cells that are capped brood, and you can see it is full of bees. In this particular session, I did not find the queen. But we have evidence that she is doing her job. Lots of larvae, lots of capped brood, lots of bees, lots of evidence that she is alive and well. This next one, this is frame number 5. And I tried to shake a lot of the bees off of this frame. This frame also had lots of larvae and capped cells, but it also has some burr comb at the bottom of the frame. And so I went ahead and removed the burr comb using the hive tool. It's very easy to remove. You just want to do it quickly and cleanly, or at least that's my thought. And there I did find a queen cell. near the bottom of the frame. Actually, it's a queen cap or cup, not a queen cell. A queen cup near the bottom of the frame, which does cause me some concern because anytime the bees build a queen cup and then a queen cell at the bottom of the frame, that means that the bees want to swarm. Now, I just got my bees a few weeks ago. I haven't even had them a month. I don't want them swarming and splitting right now. So this does concern me. I did go to bee classes, 2 sets of bee classes. So I plan to call my mentor and get their advice. Now this will be number 6, frame 6. This is one of their original frames. And I do try to smoke them as needed so that I don't squish any when I pick them up. And you can see that they're hanging off of each other at the very bottom of this frame as well. Building a bit of comb there. And I'm going to go ahead and remove that as well. No queen cells or queen cups on this particular frame, so I'm okay with that. Now about the queen cup, if you have a queen cup near the top / middle of the frame, that is supposed to mean that they're building a queen cell for supersedure. Something's wrong with the queen and they want to replace her. But a queen cup at the bottom of the frame means, yeah, they want to swarm and split in two hives rather than one. So here we come with frame number 7. Again, this frame was also one of the originals from the Nuke. And this one didn't have any burr comb, but it sure had plenty of bees at the bottom of the frame. Again, lots of capped cells. When I looked at this one, it had some larvae as well. Lots of healthy bees here. Okay, frame 8 is the last frame that came with the original Nuke, and it was partially filled when I installed this a few weeks ago. As you can see, it's quite covered now. And those are bees hanging off the bottom of the frame. That is not burr comb. It's just bees hanging off of each other. Again, lots of brood, some larvae. Looked good. Now, frame 8. Frame 8 was blank 2 weeks ago, completely empty. Last week, it had some comb on it, quite a bit of comb actually, and this week, watch this. Wow, look at that. Look at the number of bees on there and the amount of comb that's been drawn. Isn't that absolutely amazing? I think this one will probably be completely filled out in another week or so at the rate they're going right now, although we do have rain expected next week. And if you look at the last frame, frame 10, you can see that they're starting to do something. They're certainly on the frame. They're starting to do something on this one. So I'm expecting to have to add another box as well as possibly as early as next week with empty frames because they are just moving right now. I know that there are lots of things blooming, some blooming in the garden, some wildflowers still blooming, but this year's weather has certainly been quite interesting. So I don't know exactly what they're feeding on, but man, they are doing it because, like I said, it takes 8 pounds of honey to make 1 pound of comb, and they're making comb really, really well. It's always difficult for me to get these frames back together after I've checked the hive because I don't want to smush any of the bees. And boy, they are just active going all over the place. Um, so yeah, it's a little difficult there. I'm also thinking of redoing my hive stand a little bit because although this is great now, when I start adding the second box and then honey supers, it's going to be too tall. I wanted something that would be easier for me, but I think I may have overshot this a little bit. So I think in the next 2 weeks or so that I am probably going to redo my hive stand, which will just be an easy modification, I hope. So now it's time to cover this back up and put the top on and then get her ready to go. And I'll show you the front of the hive after I get all the covers on so you can see how these bees are going at the entrance. And I did expand the entrance last week. It's between 3 and 4 inches that they have for the entrance, and just look at it covered with bees. Have a wonderful week full of bountiful blossoms and blessings.